realize that. Like, it's a lot easier to see motives.
Yeah, it's freaky, but that also leads to the acquisition of resources, which leads to making better things. I mean, I'm all Google. I was reading articles all day today on the iPhone 16. Why? Why do I care about the iPhone 16? My iPhone 15 is perfect. It works great. What's wrong with me? I don't know. But I think that's also built into materialism. I think materialism sort of facilitates the creation of newer and better things consistently and constantly. Because everybody's like, what, you got an iPhone 14? What are you, poor, Sarah?
Yeah.
You know, like, people get crazy.
I'm slumming it.
But you know what I'm saying? You know how people get weird?
Yeah,
like, what's your car? You have a 2018 car?
Yeah.
Don't you want a new one?
Yeah.
Look, they got the new one. The new one has this and that. Has a better gas mileage. Faster 0 to 60. And it never ends. And it never ends until we create sentient life, I think.
Yeah, so part of your argument is that sort of our materialistic culture is about building newer and better things, and eventually this is like sort of just more fundamental to the process of life.
I think this pathology of materialism, this thing that has possessed so many people, where they live their entire lives to acquire things to impress other people, which is a huge number of people that are involved specifically in finance, like all the amphetamine people, all the people that like to do coke and fucking look at my boat. That's what they're doing. They're just constantly getting better and better things. It does sound boring to you because you're a brilliant woman, but it's not necessarily more boring than their normal life, right? So there's some sort of reward to showing up with a $500,000 watch on, with diamonds, and this is some crazy thing where people go, ooh, he's got that thing.
Yeah.
Oh, look at those shoes she's got. Oh, look at that purse. Oh, look at this car. Look at the house they live in. Ooh. Yeah. It's weird. It's weird.
Well, I know. I sympathize. I am seduced by good fashion aesthetics. I mean, who isn't? But,
a lot of men are. A lot of women are.
I love it. I think it's great.
Yeah, sure. It's beautiful. It's an expression of art.
Yeah.
And that's what it is.
Exactly.
It makes things look cooler, and, like the way my wife looks at dresses and stuff, it's like she's looking at the way I look at other forms of art, things that I like.
That's right.
It's just a different aesthetic, a different mindset, but it's
totally
art.
Yes.
Thank you everyone for your patience, and we'll start taking some questions now.
And we're attracted to that too. Yeah. We're attracted to creation. We make things.
Yeah, and I think you're right to point that this is like maybe to get something deeper. So, with this is like serious stuff. My original motivation was really
thank you very much for
that, what fundamentally explains life in the universe. And to me, the thing that life does that no other physical system does is creativity. And life is a mechanism for the universe generating things it couldn't generate otherwise. And so, one way I think about that is like there's this huge possibility space of things that could exist. And
an entire season of hard work has led up to today, and a win will see them lift the trophy. But
hello everyone and welcome. Our footballing travels have taken us to the Midlands. We're at Villa Park. I'm Derek Ray, your match commentator, and alongside providing all the tactical and technical analysis, it's Stuart Robson. And today could be a significant one for the travelling fans who are hoping their team will secure the league title. And running in behind, oh, it's in! And as things stand, they will be crowned champions. Well, they're in the driving seat. Can they now see this through?
Whenever a planet gets
back underway, 1-0 it is.
It will generate life, and then that life will give birth to people. People will eventually and he calls it like people. Like the point of the planet is people.
Interesting.
And that as these civilizations become more advanced, they're going to have
the perfect position to read it.
Further and further away from the sun. Like over the course of hundreds of millions of years, things will change, things will become cooler.
And threading it through. And now in a dangerous position.
Some sort of artificial
atmosphere. Oh, that's textbook goalkeeping.
With logical things that will change the animals and the depths.
Yeah.
Ibrahima Konate. Van Dijk with it. Moving the ball effectively, looking for the right moment. Could cross it in here. And foiled only by the crossbar.
This
And
theory
putting
of
paid to the
commutation
danger.
and its universality that we
Well,
invented
Villa
in
are
the last
hanging on
century,
here.
that
That should have been a
universal
goal,
to
really.
intelligence,
They've got
machines, and
away with
energies
that
like
one.
any planet.
Well,
So I think
advantage
it's
coming
really
into
hard
play,
to say
and rightly
what
so.
here is universal to other places versus
It's certainly a big leap, right?
yeah.
There's no evidence of people.
And he's beaten him here.
Or any other.
Yeah.
Not real evidence. There's a lot of shenanigans. There's a lot of weirdness, but there's no real evidence.
Yeah, there's no evidence for life on any other planet, and so the mechanism of how life.
Oh, that's really untidy.
Is not known. I spent my entire career working.
Opportunity. No hiding from the fact that they really should have extended their lead.
Well, that was a poor miss. Could they come to regret that?
On, what we think life on other worlds will be like, and we tend to do it from a very anthropocentric lens, where we'll say it will be like us, and even professional astrobiologists will do the same kind of thought experiments, and they'll say, oh well, the geochemistry on a planet should give rise to things like
Perfect
DNA
challenge.
and proteins, and so we should look for those in the universe. And I think that's
Emiliano Buendia.
underestimating how large
Barkley with it.
actually is.
So when you're thinking
Moving the ball forward with purpose.
emergence of life,
Referees are rightly praised for giving advantage, but when there is no advantage, it has to be a free kick.
It has to emerge at certain temperatures the way ours is.
Well, that's splendid play, and he's outdone himself. Wonderful save there. Pressure applied. Can they make something of it? Oh, a goal it is! But no need to panic just yet.
Well, that certainly makes it interesting. You can feel the anxiety out there.
Virgil van Dijk. Now with Konate. Andrew Robertson.
Crazy.
Konate. Araujo. Alexander Arnold.
Examining apex predators.
Ronald Araujo.
They have for their environment and seeing
Alexis McAllister.
What are these things that they do? And he said.
And just 1 minute of time added on for stoppages.
Most bizarre thing about it.
Yeah.
He said they're aliens.
They are. I mean, not literally.
Well, there's the
but,
half-time whistle, and it's.
No, I totally agree. They
And so the second half gets underway. Almost a case of the two teams saying to each other, whatever you can do, I can do just as well.
Really understanding the different evolutionary trajectory.
So how they can take their body and completely morph
Take it away. He won the ball.
instantaneously.
Well, just to point you in the right direction, we have more live action from the Premier League coming up here on EA TV. It's Aston Villa facing Bournemouth.
I don't know, they're making a lot of progress. It was like the first step forward this year, which I suppose
Some danger here as he runs at them.
right?
Superbly read and executed.
But yeah, I don't think we know a lot of and their lifespan is incredibly short. Like it's just crazy.
Yeah, I have a friend
Ramsey.
who is building this office building that I talked
Just the
about.
challenge that was
A
required.
jellyfish tank in it. He's like, because he wanted to have this big cylindrical jellyfish tank in the center.
And so 30 minutes left for play in this one.
Trust me.
Well, a decent position for Liverpool to be in.
They die all the time. They don't live. It's like
Well, that's how to do it inside your own penalty
a
area.
shark exhibit. Have you ever been to that?
No, I haven't.
Incredible.
A really effective shielding under pressure.
Enormous
Well, sadly, they
aquarium.
just couldn't
So
keep
I just
possession.
wanted to go. I want to take my kids. But
It's so cool.
they,
Take the kids to the
Yeah.
little. It's one of the dopest places because you go there,
Buendia.
there's sharks swimming around. All these incredible.
I'm
fish.
delighted to say,
People
more
diving
Premier
in there
League
with them,
action
and
coming up for you here on EA TV.
So
It's Liverpool facing Wolves.
They showed us was their jellyfish habitat. That's all they do. So that thing is a damn nightmare.
The referee spotted the little nick on the way through, so a throw-in coming up.
do they just fish dead jellyfish?
And a substitution in the offing. Buendia.
They just like filter them every day. To make
It's
sure
a
there's not
perfect
ants hanging
challenge.
out.
I don't know, but the interior of it.
Yeah, they're amazing.
So,
Alexander
just
Arnold.
imagine if we found
Now the
that,
quick counter-attack could be on.
we would be trying to talk to it. We'd be blown
And
away.
having a goal! And there it is, a goal! It's just possible that might be the one that wins them the title.
Well, look at the celebrations. They certainly believe so. Still a job to do, but surely they won't throw it away from this position. Well, let's take another look, because this is a special goal. He's so far out when he strikes it. He couldn't have hit that any better.
That was a naughty goal.
does it have a brain? Like, where is it? Where's the brain?
Yeah.
Where's the blood? Does it have blood? Like, what is that?
Well, a dramatic moment near the end, and that might well be the decider.
Yeah, but I mean, it is a
10 minutes left for play.
Here, I think, I think how diverse life on Earth is
Barkley.
shocking. I guess probably pretty decent.
Alex Moreno. They are making headway, but really they need a goal with time not on their side. Davies.
Human life in the street fight.
Can he put it in?
This is
and the keeper more than equal to it.
It creates this.
Now they're going to alter things. Here's the substitution.
I don't know. It would be my honest, scientific, professional answer. I think, no, of course not would you, but I think it's really important to be honest about
Liverpool sloppy in possession here.
Because it's very tempting to speculate, but I think,
And continues his run. And it's going to be a Villa throw.
The universe really is, and I don't even mean physically large,
Alex Moreno. And it clearly was deflected, so it will be their throw-in.
On the night sky, and you're like, oh my god, the universe is a huge place.
And now with Moreno, and a decent delivery. And problem solved for now. And there goes the final whistle. I'll tell you what, and there it is. It goes into the history books as an away day to remember. They've won the league.
Well, they've worked so hard over the course of the season. It really has been a fantastic effort. They fully deserve to be the champions, no doubt about that.
Yes, full credit to everyone associated with the club. It has been quite the collective effort.
Space is so big. It's really crazy. There's one molecule usually.
Some questions regarding the match.
Which is an anti-cancer drug, and if you wanted to make every permutation of that molecular structure and every sort of three-dimensional shape you could with those atoms, it would fill 1.5 universes in volume. 1.5 universes. One molecular formula. This is how big chemistry is, and then if you want to get to technological artifacts or biological forms, the space that we live in is so exponentially large, it's unimaginable. And to think that other life out there would traverse the same path through the space of things that could exist that we have is to me a major leap I'm not ready to take, because I think the universe is far larger in the kind of living things that could exist than we can even imagine.
The molecule thing's hard to absorb.
Yeah, it's totally crazy. I mean, if you were to think about you've got this crazy stuff on your desk, and you took the atoms and those things, and you thought about all the ways that you could arrange them, it would be universes of interesting artifacts. Universes. And why is this one sitting on your desk? Why is this the aesthetic humans chose? I mean, it's pretty cool, but it's crazy to think about how much stuff could exist but doesn't exist because it wasn't selected. Evolution didn't build it over time.
Thanks very much.
It's such a fascinating way to think about it. The overwhelming possibilities, the overwhelming number of different variations.
Yes. And so on your question about humans and our specialness, I think what is special about us is we're actually capable of imagining some of that space, and not just imagining it, but constructing it with our technology. That was your point about societies and things. So there is something special about quote unquote human level intelligence or whatever is going on in the human brain. I don't know if whatever that thing is, I think is pretty universal and pretty deep about the structure of reality. I don't know if it would be in something that's like a human on another planet. But I think our ability to abstract, imagine, and create is probably universal.
Yeah, there's another thing about us that I think is bizarre, and it speaks to this concept. There's a theory about the creation of human beings, right? That human beings, the wackiest one of all, is that human beings are the product of accelerated evolution.
Yeah.
Something has manipulated our genome, something has manipulated the lower primates. That's why the human brain size doubled over a period of 2 million years.
Yeah.
And that this thing, well, but when I think about it, one of the things that intrigues me is a lover of nature, and I'm completely fascinated by how animals interact with each other. I mean, I can watch nature documentaries all day long.
Yeah.
Invasive species are weird, right? Because when something happens and someone brings a turtle to an island where it doesn't belong, or when someone brings a goat to a place that doesn't belong, or Australia, which is a fantastic example, there's like so many animals that are non-native invasive species, these Asiatic buffaloes. There's millions of them. They have to fly overhead and shoot them down with helicopters because there's so many of them. Humans are kind of like that. Aren't we kind of like that? I mean, if there's an animal that doesn't live in sync with its environment in nature and overwhelms the boundaries and seems to exist in some different sort of space than everything else.
A game of colossal importance and a stadium packed to the rafters. We can't ask for any more. How could it be otherwise when two high-level... Anfield, one of the most storied venues anywhere in the football world. My name is Derek Ray, and sitting alongside me in the commentary position is the former Arsenal and West Ham midfield player Stuart Robson. And with the Premier League season about to reach its conclusion, we're just minutes away from kick-off time. It is Liverpool versus Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Well, what a season it's been, Derek. We've seen everything. Drama at both ends of the table, some spectacular goals and plenty of entertainment. The players, of course, will be looking forward to a break now, but hopefully not before they give us a good game today.
We go everywhere we can go, which is like an invasive species thing.
You can talk about it that way.
Ryan Ait Nouri. Oh, he looks threatening, but stout defending when it mattered.
I'm not anti-person, but I'm just objectively analyzing our behavior and our impact.
Andrew Robertson.
And it's very similar to like wild kids getting introduced into an area where they don't have predators.
Yeah. I think part of the challenge is actually...
Well, confirmation as we look at the table of newly crowned champions. I say that, but today is the day when they'll... He's in with a chance! And there it is! The breakthrough! That will do nicely!
You know, organization,
well, as you can see, he gave the keeper no chance there. He looked so confident, didn't he? That's a cool finish.
The way I think about life is much more at a planetary scale. So for me, you know, going to you know, life doesn't happen just in one environment.
So the ball rolling again with the scoreline standing at 1-0.
Planetary scale transition, like something happened.
And there's been a change to the scoreline in the City game. Alex Scott has the news.
It's a goal for Manchester City. It was an early cross which found him in acres of space, and it was a beautiful headed finish. It's now 1-0 with 19 minutes played.
Cheers, Alex.
And we get things that build societies like ant
And the pass not quite accurate enough. And a throw in there.
It just seems to me it's a natural progression of the evolutionary process to build more complex systems at larger collective
Doherty
scales
has it.
that are doing...
He has teammates around him.
And, you know, if life wants to get off
beating his opponent.
Go through something like us. So
But a good piece of tidying up.
You can look at it from the, you know, couple hundred-year time scale and say these things are terribly negative and predator prey, this, that, and the other thing. But if you look at it over the billions
Andrew Robertson.
scale, there's a really different picture that emerges about what we are
McAllister.
Isn't it fascinating?
Well, that one has promise. And an effective clearance.
Go to if life gets off this planet.
Yes.
So that seems to be something that we have baked into us.
Good run, very much in control of the situation.
So, we need something else out there too. And if something else out there, and it was
McAllister. Well, it wasn't all that far off the target.
Well, you're absolutely right. That was close, but the game is still very much in the balance here.
Would you?
Yes.
You would?
Yeah.
Would you? What's your deal?
100%. Yeah.
Bueno.
Exactly what they did. I think that's what curious things do.
Now, someone has scored in one of the other matches. Let's find out exactly who. Alex Scott will tell us.
It's a goal for Spurs. It's now 1-0 with 38 minutes played.
Alex keeping us right up to date.
We consider lower than us.
Yeah.
On evolutionary scale.
Darwin Nunez.
That's a problem, but I don't know that
Back to Diaz.
solves this issue of
Just what the Liverpool fans wanted to see as they extend the lead to 2 goals.
Well, here we can see just how easily Salah goes beyond his marker. And then the strike from Salah is absolutely devastating. The keeper just couldn't react to the power of the shot. What a goal that is.
You know, like you're making value statements that, like,
And we will have just one additional minute.
like they're still alive when you beat them, so it's like pretty good.
A wonderful intervention.
Yeah.
Plans, exchange resources.
A chance then for the respective managers to...
Yes, there's all kinds of very complicated information processing going on in finance,
Yeah, we are very...
So back underway, and no sugarcoating it. There was a big gulf between the sides in the first half. Will we see a response from Wolves in the second?
I talk about dolphins and orcas. To me, it's one of the biggest crimes of modern civilization that we keep those things in fish tanks.
Yes, I totally agree with that. I totally agree.
Well, that's how to outwit your opponent.
They can't manipulate their environment.
Yes.
So we essentially have
the referee spotted the infringement, and it will be a free kick in a position of genuine menace.
Yeah, I think they're insanely...
Now they're going to alter things. Here's the substitution.
And we're so egocentric in our concept of what does intelligence mean? Can you control your environment? Do you have a house? Did you make a house? Do you have a car? How do you get around? Do you communicate with each other through cell phones?
That's a good-looking shot.
And
a goal, almost bewitching in its beauty.
Pay attention to this kind of thing because there's
technique.
a lot of crap out there. You also know, if you listen to this AG, this is an
Well, I have a feeling we're going to see this time and time again tonight. It's a fantastic bit of technique. Just to get that much lateral movement on the ball. Wonderful strike.
But there's this weirdness that we have attached intelligence to ability to manipulate the environment, and we've ignored.
Well, you can see the frustration in his face. His team have just switched off here.
So back underway, and who's to say Wolves can't find another one? Right, update time. A goal at the Amex Stadium. Alex Scott, who has scored it.
It's a goal for Brighton.
Now, forgive me, Alex. This could be an opportunity. Couldn't beat the keeper, unfortunately for him.
Well, I think that's a bad miss. He just never looked convincing as he went through there.
It's super exciting what people are trying to do.
Well, for understandable reasons in this case, we had to cut off Alex. To confirm, Brighton did score in that game, and it's now even Steven, 1-1. Well, it is an occasion never to be missed, and you'll see it live with us right here on EA TV, the Champions League final. It's Liverpool facing Inter.
Well, the two best teams in Europe are there on merit, but who will be the champions? It should be an absolute belter.
Santiago Bueno. In possession, Dawson. Matt Doherty. Looking for the final pass that will open things up.
It's hard. It's really
It comes to nothing in the end. Robs of the ball, Mo Salah.
Create an environment where your body and the physical senses of the body don't influence the mind at all, so there's more resources.
Doherty.
And he was setting up these tanks next to dolphin tanks and taking LSD and trying to communicate with dolphins.
I have heard about these
He
things.
did a lot of really wild things with dolphins, but none of it really...
There was a whole generation that had a lot of wild things with dolphins, but yeah, I think there's a lot of progress in animal communication, but I think we're very far from understanding whether animals are communicating at all like us and in what ways.
Right. It might be very limited in thinking that this is the only way.
Well, it's your point about anthropocentrizing. Like we just like we have our bubble, we think about the world this way, and like the human way is the only way and the right way, and we put our notions of intelligence on other species.
Well, the last touch came off the defender, so a corner now.
That's just not right.
So we're thinking about this now.
So the corner played into the box, just far too close to the goalkeeper. And there's been a change to the score. He's in with a chance. The net is staring him in the face. And it's a double for him in this game. No way for the opposition to contain him. And no wonder he's off celebrating.
Well, here's the replay, and just look how quickly they break forward once they win the ball back. And what an emphatic strike it is from Salah. Hit with his laces, it's a great finish and a great goal.
No shortage of goals in this match. 3-1. Well, we're sorry for interrupting you just then, Alex. Just to confirm, Manchester City did score in that game, and they're in front at the moment by 2-1. Mo Salah. And Wolves have it back now.
We had to figure out a way to keep the animals from us, right?
Yeah, and just sort of like surviving.
Well, on the cusp of the final whistle, and the home side really prospering today. Stuart, interested to get your take.
Yeah, this has been a good performance. They've looked really sharp going forward, and they've shown a lot of energy. They'll certainly be pleased with their overall display up to now.
became one. There's abundance of fish. Seemed like you don't have to do too much more. You guys got it nailed.
Wang Hee-chan.
Probably living in paradise if you became one.
Cunha. Well, not so fast. The referee says penalty, and maybe a late glimmer of hope for them.
I mean, honestly, I love their physics.
And they will make the change now. They know they've got to convert this.
All the examples you're
The
giving.
keeper going in the right direction and saving it. Well, 3 minutes of stoppage time, that's what the officials have said. Salah. And they know they need to stop him. And Salah! And a goal to seal the hat-trick! A masterclass in finishing. Just can't stop him today.
Well, just look how Salah glides beyond his opponent, and Salah does the rest. He strikes it so cleanly, he hits it with power and accuracy. There was no stopping that.
And with that, the referee brings this game to an end. Well, the fans knew before a ball was kicked they were here for a party. And let the title party begin, Stuart.
Well, they've had to wait, but it's going to be worth it. Just listen to the fans inside this stadium. Great scenes here.
The best team in the league. It was official ahead of this game. But the supporters wanted to be here to drink in the moment.
Over the course of the season, they've been absolutely superb. Fully deserved the title.
And now for the moment of confirmation. The trophy presentation.
Well, this is what they were dreaming of before the game. They'll come and pick this trophy up. What a performance from them.
Yes, a performance that has impressed absolutely everyone. And now it comes down to holding that piece of silverware aloft. The sweet taste of success. It has been quite the journey, and it comes to an end in style on the big stage.
And now the celebrations can begin. Not just the players, but also the fans, the coaching staff, everybody involved with this club. What a performance it's been.
And it is always a collaboration between players and fans. And how special is this to be able to celebrate right in front of your own supporters?
Well, these are lovely pictures, aren't they? Celebrating with the fans. They've certainly played their part. They've made so much noise over the season. Really lovely scenes here.
And they're going to be continuing for a while, I think. And this is always part of the fun, Stuart, the photographs.
Well, this photo will be hanging up in the study for years to come, won't it? Just make sure you're in that front row. That would be my advice.
So there we have it, the league champions.
A real, like, matrix sort of state where it allows you to have the thought processes.
You've got time for a couple of questions?
Like if they can remember the thought process.
In your brain.
Yes, and they be able to feel it.
You would
what
be
it
human.
means. Yeah, imagine the meaning of what it is to be. It's not just like, wow, I can see the ocean in my language, but instead think like an octopus for a great period of time.
Yeah, I think that would be amazing. I've thought about it. Like, what must it be like to be a plant? You know, most places it's like a plant never grew, but it's like a plant's experiencing growth right now. Like, what is it doing? It's like just weird if you actually try to think about it. Like, what does it feel like to be a plant?
It's better to play classic music.
Yeah. I mean, their way of expressing their personality, so to speak.
Thanks, that's all the questions we have for you.
Morphology is like, you know, like their shape is like their expression of their behavior, right? Like animals can move around in an environment, but a plant just grows.
Right.
So its shape is its behavior, which is kind of crazy.
It is kind of crazy. Just the whole interaction that they have with each other, the fact that we've only figured that out over the last few decades.
Yeah.
It's and if you ever seen like time-lapsed photos of plants,
Yeah.
like interact with
I
each
know,
other,
yeah, it's been amazing. Yeah.
wrap around each other and hug each other.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But we have a hard time even with plants not anthropocentrizing with the kind of experiments we want to do to learn how they're intelligent because they're using a lot of animal-based experimental programs to try to test plant intelligence, and they probably don't fit plant intelligence because their intelligence is so different.
Right.
So it's really hard to say like what kinds of properties they actually have.
And so, if we think about the wide potential for variability in terms of planets out there in the known universe, you would imagine that there'd probably be a lot of intelligent animals that would find some sort of Goldilocks thing like dolphins had.
Yeah.
Where they don't really need to manipulate their environment. They're kind of dominant over sharks. You know, they're not really worried about getting eaten by other things.
These are the aliens we'll never meet because they had no reason to go out and explore and conquer.
Sort of like the Na'vi and Avatar.
Yeah.
They're aliens, but they're kind of like, you know, synced up,
right.
Which is really fascinating too, because like that movie caused people to get depressed that they don't live like the Na'vi. Do you know that was like a real like?
I didn't know that was a real thing.
Yeah,
That's
it's called
crazy.
Avatar depression.
Really?
Yeah, and people would go to see that movie, and those people lived in such spiritual harmony with their mother planet, and they rode around. On these flying dragons, and they were honest and noble, and like we were like, God, I want to be them. And so people would like go back to their apartment, people beeping their horns, and pollution and garbage on the street, and crazy homeless people. You'd be like, fuck, I want to live in Navi land. I want to live in Pandora. I want to live like them. So people got depressed.
Weird.
Yeah, Avatar depression was like a real thing.
That's so crazy.
Psychologists were dealing with it. They had sick people on the couch.
But the idea of utopia is like so oversold. I mean, I think there's something like it's I don't know, like I don't think such things exist.
I don't think utopia exists, but I think harmony exists.
Harmony for sure.
And I think that.
But you have to work hard for it.
Yes.
And I think that's the thing. Like, I think there's some conception that there's some easy path to harmony, and harmony requires work, and it requires constant work.
Constant work. Yeah, there's no days off.
No.
And I also think that we have created a world in which harmony is very difficult to acquire.
Yeah.
Because our world and the structure of doing a thing that you probably do not want to do for most of your day, to pay off debt for something that you really didn't need, to education that you turn out you don't use, and all this different stuff that keeps it's very difficult for people in this environment, especially urban environments, to create harmony. Whereas people that live like in hunter-gatherer tribes and people that live subsistence lifestyles in particular, they report much higher levels of satisfaction, happiness, less depression.
I think debt's really hard because you're constantly aspiring to things, and you're right. Like it's just totally baked in. Like even I still have student loan debt from it's just like you want to be. You take on debt. You try to do something, but it's pretty bad.
There was a Vice series a long time ago, back when Vice was really first starting out, and it was a Vice Guide to Travel, and they went to visit this guy who lives in the Arctic Circle, and he's been there since like the 1970s. I think he went out there initially as a logger. He's one of the last few people to have he has a permit for a cabin out there. So he lives in this small cabin with no windows,
Yeah.
sort of. Like while they were filming, he had to shoot a grizzly bear that was trying to kill his dog
Oh dear God.
and steal his food. He's had dogs.
It's nice for
killed
like
by
6
bears.
hours.
It is very hard.
I can't even imagine.
It's the point is that this guy does live in harmony though, and he's very healthy and very happy. And you know the way he talks about, he's a very intelligent person.
Yeah.
You know, he's not like some weird caveman who's out there in the woods.
No,
just
I think
hunting
mostly
caribou.
people that do, like, it's a choice, right, to actually
Yes.
decide to live that way. So,
Well, for him it certainly is, but it's also he has an ability to communicate that's unique for a guy who does that, because it's not like he's talking to a lot of intelligent people all the
Yeah.
time. And he's essentially out there by himself.
yeah, that's super
and
hard. Does he read a
with his
lot?
wife. I don't know. That's a good question. But he seems to have like he's synced up with nature. He's catching fish and he's hunting animals and that's all he's eating.
Yeah.
He lives off of that. And this guy wakes up every morning and says, "What do I need to do to stay alive?"
Okay, welcome everyone. We'll be starting with questions now.
Doesn't that really sound more terrible than some job celebration? You dedicate 25 years of your life to something else. Now you know what to do. And you go like 46. That's a lot of people. Whereas this guy, he knows what he's going to do. He knows what he's going to do the next day. And every
Also, he knows his life matters every day.
yeah.
Like, I think we forget. It's like, you know, our life is a choice. And, you know, like, and you're fighting for, like, whatever way you live your life. But we're kind of just in the daily grind. We lose our connection to that existential reality.
That's
our
all.
lives are finite. And I think it really changes your perception of things when you really think about the fact that you have a finite amount of time.
Yes. And food's not guaranteed.
Yes.
That's another thing.
Well, survival's not guaranteed, right?
Right.
So we take for granted survival, and therefore we take for granted that we're alive at all in some sense.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So when you start studying all these things and thinking about life and thinking about the various possibilities of life, what's the lowest single-celled organism? How long ago do we think that emerged?
I think we're in
The most prestigious club competition in European football. And now it comes down to this, the final itself. Who will prevail?
Since this billion or so years.
It's Inter, they face Liverpool, and it's coming up live on EA TV next. It is something very special indeed to make.
Yeah.